Hey, welcome to Lesson 3. At this point, students have learned the sounds of 8 letters, and they can read 30 words with those letters. So we're ready for the first story. Today, Linda is working with Oliver. They start out with a quick review of previously taught concepts.
Ready for reading?
Yep.
All right, we're gonna start by reviewing our phonogram cards. All right, you think you remember these?
Yes.
All right, let's see how well you remember them. Why are you doing this? What are you holding?
An apple.
Apple. Al as an apple. Just remember, just say b. Don't hold on to it, just b. Good. Good job. You've got those down. We're gonna review those one more time tomorrow, and then I think you'll be all done. Now let's review some of our words. Think you got these too?
Yeah.
All right.
Jam. Jam.
Good.
Sat.
Say it again.
Sat.
Good.
Mat.
Good.
At.
Yep.
And.
Say it again.
Can.
Good.
Nap.
Good.
And.
Like she ate an apple.
Man.
Good.
Map.
Good.
Sam. Am.
And
The.
one of our leap words, the. Good job. We're gonna practice those one more time tomorrow too.
Notice that review time is short and fast-paced. We're just getting the student warmed up here. The upcoming story will include exclamation points, so we're going to do a quick activity centered around punctuation.
All right. In the last lesson, we talked about periods and exclamation points. Do you remember that?
Yep.
In this activity, we're going to help Rocket the dog express his excitement with some exclamation points. Our dog Rocket just returned back to Earth, and he's excited to invite his friends to a picnic. First, let's put some periods at the end of those names, and you say the name without excitement because they're just periods. Can you say that?
Pam. Sam.
Whoops.
Pat.
And the last one.
Jan.
Good. Now let's turn these over, and now how would Rocket say their names if he's excited about it?
Pam. Sam.
Good.
Pat.
And
Jan.
good job. He's pretty excited, and I think you made him sound pretty excited too.
Didn't Oliver have great expression as he practiced? I loved it. Now we're going to move on to the warm-up sheet, which contains words that Oliver is about to see in the upcoming story. We also use it to introduce new vocabulary and to activate prior knowledge.
All right, we're gonna practice some words that are in our story. We're gonna get to read your very first story from the reader. But first we gotta practice a few words that are gonna be in the story so that we're sure that you know them. Can you read the words there?
The. Pat.
Oh, try again.
Tap.
Good.
App.
Good.
Jam.
Say it again.
Jam.
Jam. Good.
Pan.
And
Bam.
good. And the name of our character in our story is
Pat.
Pat. That's why it starts with a capital P, because it's a name. Do you know what this is?
Ferret.
A ferret, that's right. Ferrets are little animals that used to be used in Europe to catch rats and mice and things like that. But now some people keep them as pets. Have you ever heard of a ferret for a pet? Ferrets are playful and mischievous, and they like to get into lots of trouble. Just like cats, they're very curious. Do you know any funny things that cats sometimes do? Some of the trouble that they get into?
They knock food off of the table.
They might knock food off of the table, yes.
And they get stuck in trees.
They can get stuck in trees. If they're very curious and they see something up that tree that they want, they might climb right up there and then they don't know how to get down.
Or they get scared up
Yeah,
by
they
a
might.
dog.
Yes, they might get scared and they'll go up there because they're scared. Well, ferrets are very curious, just like cats. They can get into some of the same trouble. The story that we're about to read is about a curious ferret that gets into a lot of mischief.
Time for the story. Several things you'll see in this next segment. Even though there are only 20 words in this story, it's rich in detail and action because of the illustrations. Also, we stress comprehension right from the beginning. Watch how Linda encourages Oliver to think about what he is reading. We want to make sure that he isn't just word calling.
We're going to read our story, and you tell me the name of our story.
Bam.
Bam. And what's that at the end of the word?
Bam.
Yeah, it's an exclamation point, so it's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Mhm.
All right, can you read this?
Pat.
That's the ferret's name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Tap. Tap. Tap.
Okay. What's the ferret doing?
Tapping on a cat.
Yeah.
Tap the map.
Good. Say that sentence again.
Tap the map.
Good.
Tap, tap, tap.
Why do you think that ferret is tapping on that bag?
To get out those.
Yeah, he wants to see what's in there, doesn't he? He's very curious.
Tap the jam.
Oh dear, what could happen?
I could follow those.
Yeah, he could break some of those.
Tap the pan.
Oh dear, what could happen if he taps that pan?
It could fall over and spill the cupcakes.
Oh, that wouldn't be very good, would it?
No.
And what happened?
Bam!
Bam! That's exactly what happened. And there goes all those cookies or cinnamon rolls. They look kind of like cinnamon rolls. And this is what? Do you know what that says?
The end.
The end. That's the end of the story. What is some of the trouble that Pat the ferret got into in our story? Let's go back and take a look at some of the pictures. What's some of the trouble that he got into?
He broke a flower container.
Yeah. What do you think could happen with him patting the cat?
She could wake up really red and sick.
Yeah. And what happened here?
He whacked those things
And they
out.
all came out. And then we saw that Pat got into mischief with the jam jars.
Mhm.
And what happened to those?
They fell on the ground.
Yep, they went
Bam!
bam. Good job. All right, good job reading your first story. Let's go. We're gonna read our read aloud in a couple minutes, but first, you can put your sticker. Want to pick a sticker to put on the chart? This is lesson 3, so you can put the sticker on lesson 3. All right, good job. All right, let's go read our read aloud.
Every lesson ends with marking the progress chart. Yay, a bit of celebration. From beginning to end, this particular lesson took 8 minutes, but we covered a lot of ground. At some point in the day, you'll read aloud to your student for 20 minutes or so. During read aloud time, you'll model how you sometimes stop to think about what you're reading. You want to pass on the idea that good readers expect the text to make sense. Reading is like a conversation between the author and reader. First reading experiences are so important. They set the tone for how kids feel about reading. We want to set them up for success and make them feel that reading is worthwhile. Make reading a joy.